bad of a knockdown as you had in Dublin, but did it worry you in any way when you went down?
No, I always try and just stay calm in those situations, and you know, I just tried to get back to my feet as soon as I could, and that's what I did. And then I knew after that you know, that would have edged the round in his favour, so I was trying to push it on him a bit more. I'm pretty sure they still gave him that round, but you know, I'm happy with the win. It was an awkward fight, but still wins a win.
Stylistically, it was almost like mirror images, essentially. And so, did you do anything different? Was there a different game plan for this fight? And it's almost like you were fighting yourself, really.
What are you saying? He looks like me, or
that too? Yeah. That too.
No, yeah, no. He was an awkward fight. Stylistically, he was similar enough to me. I think I'm more of a. I think I pushed the pace more in fights, and that's what I did in that fight. And that's, I'm sure that's why I came out with the win. But it was awkward because I knew he was kind of a counter striker and a counter fighter, and I was aware of that. And you know, I was trying to bait him in to attacking me a bit, which wasn't really working. And then we were just circling, so I didn't want to move involved in that sort of fight. So I felt like I kind of had to play into his game, so as not to just be circling around him the whole time. So it was an awkward fight.
Everything that John Kavanagh says turns to gold, but at the end of the fight, he had you decide, and he whispered something in your ear. What was it he said to you at the end of that fight?
He just said, "Look, that guy was awkward, and you did, you know, you did as good as you could to without making that fight stale." So he was just like, "Congratulations."
It was a split decision. When you stood there awaiting the judge's decision, were you nervous or were you convinced that you'd won?
No, I was fairly confident I won. Bit disappointed it was a split. I could see. I think the third round was close because I was trying. I knew he wanted me to, you know, to attack him and him fight off that. So I was trying to reserve my attacks a little bit. I think that's why that round was a little bit closer. But you know, I still think I came out on top anyway in the third. I controlled my aggression coming forward a bit more.
What would you say was the deciding factor that gave you the win in the end?
I think me just pushing the fight. You know, he was countering and that was his game, but I was the one pushing forward, pushing the fight the whole time.
Did you feel more comfortable in there, obviously coming down to switching to welterweight? Obviously you were middleweight in your last fight. Did you feel more confident in there?
Yeah, everything about it, you know, I felt more comfortable about everything. I couldn't have made my debut in more of a, you know, couldn't have had more eyes on me. It was a real big moment to make your debut, so I feel like everything else after that is going to be easy. So going into this fight, I felt real comfortable, real confident, and just looking forward to it, to be honest. And I did that when I got in there. I felt like I belonged.
What was it like mentally? Because obviously Dublin was so loud, and you come in here. There was some Irish there, definitely. And did you hear them singing "Ole, ole, ole"?
Yeah, I heard the Ole's. It's just great, you know. You always hear the Irish singing, "You'll never beat the Irish," and I think when they're singing that, they're talking about the support, because you really can't. I haven't seen any nation in MMA that supports their fighters like Ireland. I mean, the closest would be Brazil, but I still think pound for pound, the Irish support are the best in the world.
What do you think of the welterweight division? You know, where do you see yourself in this particular division, and when do you even want to fight again?
I want to get in there as soon as possible. I'm hoping to get in there before Christmas, to be honest with you. You know, I'm just happy to be back in welterweight. That's where you know, I feel most comfortable, and I think the division is wide open right now. I know Johnny Hendricks is at the top, but I think since GSP, you know, bowed out of the game, I think that the top 10, I can see the belt there rotating around again a bit. So to be honest with you, might go in the you know, I look in steps. My next step is just to get into that top 15. I have my eye on the top 15 and getting in those rankings, and I just want to keep fighting as much as possible, get pushed up in there and start getting those other fights.
Is there, you know, you said the top 15. Is there any name, or any couple of names in particular that excite you as opponents, as opposed to calling them out? Who do you want to test your skills in there with next?
You know, there's loads of guys I'd love to. You know, someone that I think for my next fight, more likely it would be someone who's just about to get into the top 15. You know, like someone like who won the Cote Thompson fight. I think Thompson won that. You know, someone like that. He's probably pushing in top 15 now. Calvin Gastelum's in the top 15. I think he's like 11 or 12. I think that's a really nice fight. I would love to take. I think Calvin's a great fighter. We're both young guys up and coming, and the future of the division, I believe. So I would love to test my skills against him. So they're the type of fights I would like.
And so no one's keeping count, but SBG now are 15 wins on the trot in the UFC, with 16 and 17 perhaps happening today. We always ask, well, people have always asked the question, but once again, how important is that group of guys behind you? I mean, every time you guys come out, you get better and better, and now you're getting the recognition you deserve as a camp.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're sharing this experience together, and it's not a new thing. We've been sharing this experience. We came up through the ranks together. We started, competing as pros on the local scene. Then we progressed onto the European scene together, and then, Conor was the first one in the UFC. But now there's a bunch of us in there, and we're sharing this all together. And it's collectively we feel like a family, and we're sharing this experience. It's really phenomenal, and that's the difference. I think when you look at like someone on SBG, where we all came up through the ranks there. We started as youngsters together and came up through the ranks, and now we're at the top. You compare it to somewhere like ATT, where they have a massive stable of fighters in the UFC, real top high-level guys. These all started from different teams and worked their way up to the UFC, and then went there. We started together, and we have that bond that you can't really replicate.
Last question for me, I promise. But at the last press conference, Gunny said that John Kavanagh should have got the bonuses for performance of the night. Did you share any with him?
Of course we did. We have to give away. John doesn't do this for free.
You fought a couple of times now for the UFC in Europe. Do you have any aspirations to maybe test yourself in Vegas or maybe Brazil or different markets?
Yeah, big time. I'm dying to get over and fight in the States. I was actually born over there, so I have a citizenship. It's going to be fairly easy for me. I don't need a visa or anything, and the land of opportunity. I want to get over to the States and get my opportunity. So I've been eyeing up the schedules and everything, and like I said, I'm hoping to fight before Christmas. So there's an event on the 13th of December in Phoenix, Arizona at the UFC in Fox. I'd love to be involved in that, or if I couldn't get on that, the Ultimate Fighter finale is the day before on the 12th of December. So if I could get on either of those cards, it would work out perfectly.
Maybe you and John can share a presidential suite there as well.
That's what John doesn't roll in anything else now.
There wouldn't be any SBG talent appearing in the final of the Tough series by any chance, would there?
I know, yeah. Well, that's the big question. So I guess you're gonna have to watch it.
I got one question. From a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourself right now? And to get to that top notch, if you don't believe you are, what does it take?
I believe I'm world class level. I believe I belong up there. Like I said, my next step and my next aim is to be in the top 15. That's where I see myself right now. So it's just about beating the guys to get there. So that's where I see myself right now.
So you're a 10 now.
Sorry?
So you're a 10 now.
I'm a 10. I'm not the perfect. Look, I'm not perfect. Like Conor always says, we're seeking perfection. We're not perfect. Yeah. If I felt like it was perfect, I wouldn't be improving every day. I'm going to the gym every day to improve, to get better. So I'm not the complete package. Yeah. If you're asking me 1 to 10, but potential wise, I'm like 6 right now. I would imagine. I have a lot to go. I've only just turned 27. I've a lot in me left.
Since you mentioned Conor, what has he said for coming out for this fight for you, and his existence, pure existence, and his approach to the UFC, his success? What does it mean? Does it affect you in any way?
It's great to see, and it gives me confidence to see a guy that I train with day in, day out, does the same training as me. At the top of the sport, he's about, in my opinion, he's going to fight for the world title next, for a UFC title. That's where he's at, and I believe he's going to win it. So I'm training with a UFC champion in my eyes. And that gives me great confidence, because I'm doing the exact same thing as him. We started off at the bottom together, so it's fantastic to be in the gym with him.
So follow up with his style of work. He does predictions.
Yeah.
Give us a prediction when you will be entering the octagon for a title fight.
For a title fight, I look at steps. I'm not at the next step yet. My next step is to get into the top 15, like I said. So if I was to give a prediction, I want to be going at some point early next year, 2015. I want to be a ranked fighter in the UFC.
You've got tons of love for the Irish fans, and rightfully so. But now that you've actually your fight's finished here, what's your impression of a Swedish MMA fan, and just of the overall MMA scene that we've got over here?
Oh, they're fantastic, really friendly people. I've had a great experience here so far. They're so nice, very supportive. They've treated me like I'm a home fighter. I seem to be very popular here, so I'm very appreciative of that. It's obviously my first fight in the UFC abroad, because I had my debut at home, and I kind of felt like it was a home, to be honest. So thanks to the Swedish fans.
And if you were to speculate, why do you think that is, that you're so popular here?
I don't know. Really don't know. They just like me, I suppose.